nothing special about the Proms, really. It's one of those huge institutions that you grow up with. Because I'm from this country, it's massive. It's enormous, and it holds a very special significance, really. So yeah, playing all the Beethoven concertos at the Proms is something for me to spend a lot of time thinking about. The opening of the fourth concerto, where the piano starts alone, it's one of those notorious passages in the piano concerto repertoire, really, where I think it's possible for pianists to really get a thing about it, to get some kind of hang-up. It's difficult, but I think it's one of those areas where you just have to make a slight mental adjustment. And I think when you look at the score and see that actually Beethoven wrote one piano, the orchestra comes in pianissimo, it's not like you have to play on eggshells or anything like that. It's easy to think that this chord, this G major chord, which sounds quite simple because it's just a G major chord on its own. But in fact, there's a lot going on with the balance. You have to really think hard about how to balance this chord. And because there are relatively quite a lot of notes in the chord, 4 notes in each hand, there are 8 notes. There's a lot to think about with the balance. And you can sort of get, you can get too tied up in that, really. But I think my idea, what I imagine with that is that if you imagine a blank canvas, a dark canvas, and if you think about this as just a chink of light, you see there's a little window in the distance and a light goes on, and that gradually sort of opens and everything becomes closer, and that's your doorway, that's your entrance into the concerto. I think there's definitely some kind of journey from the first to the last piano concerto. It's not a comprehensive journey to my mind. I think it tells us very specific, individual and valuable things about Beethoven. Each piece is completely, they're unique. But the concertos were written in a relatively short span of Beethoven's life, nothing like the string quartets or the piano sonatas. So in that sense, we have a smaller window in which to look into the character of Beethoven, I suppose. The thing about the Emperor Concerto is it's the most famous, it's the biggest, it's the most imposing in its character. It's epic, it's huge, and that's what makes it, in some way overwhelming. But it's the balance within it that I'm sort of more interested in. I'm not sort of denying the majesty or the heroism of it. That's all there. But it's the other sort of chamber-like balances that I think you have to work into the context. So in a way, it sort of goes against the traditional stereotype of Beethoven, and I just think that's a bit more interesting, and I think it's something that you have to think about a lot. I've had a sort of soft spot for the fourth, I think, all along, because it's the most unusual, it's the most elusive, I feel it's the most challenging to play, it's the most challenging collaboratively as well. You really have to try and see eye to eye as much as possible, and it goes for anything, but especially with that piece. Yeah, there's something slightly unattainable about the fourth, and that's, I think, what draws me to it in a way.